What's up, everybody? All the Rage Gamer here coming at you today with another video. So this video is actually a redo of a video that I did a few days ago. The audio on that video was corrupted, or there wasn't any audio at all after I recorded it. So we're going to do a little redo of it here today. I did have a unboxing, not so much an unboxing now because I've already unboxed it, but I'm going to showcase it here nonetheless. I did want to get this video up on the channel for you guys. So if any of you watched my previous video on the Elden Ring strategy guide that I did of the first volume of it, I believe it was called the Lands Between Books of Knowledge for Elden Ring. I have volume 2 here today, so I got it right off here to the side. So here it is. So we have the Elden Ring volume 2 strategy guide called the Shards of the Shattering. So I got this a couple weeks ago. Got around to doing the unboxing of it a few days ago, but again, had an issue with the recording. So hopefully we have those issues resolved here today. But we're just going to kind of go through this real quick, show you, what's included inside of it, what information it gives you, et cetera, et cetera. So right off the bat, when we open this, it does come with some art prints inside. So I'll showcase those real quick. So this first one here, we've got a image of the boss arena for Malekith. Then we have an image of one of the sites of grace at one of the churches of Marika. And then we have a image of inside Volcano Manor of Tanith in her Crucible Knight. And I believe, no, there's one more. And then we have Stormvale Castle. So the strategy guide comes with those 4 art prints, which is pretty cool. I very much appreciate that. I don't recall if the first strategy guide came with the art prints or not. It's been so long since I got that strategy guide that I don't recall. But nonetheless, pretty cool little addition when it comes to this. So we're going to kind of go through the book here a little bit just to kind of give you a, we'll adjust the camera here a bit, just to give you an idea of what is included in this, what, kind of stuff you can expect from it. It is a strategy guide primarily, so it does have lots of images of, characters and weapons and stuff like that from the game, bosses, enemies, things of that nature. But it's not, like an art book or anything. It is a true to form strategy guide that is, to be used for that knowledge. To give you breakdowns of the mechanics and whatnot of the game. So without further ado, we'll get right on into it here. So right off the bat, there is a introductory page to the strategy guide. So I'll go ahead and read that real quick for you. So welcome to Volume 2 of the Elden Ring Books of Knowledge. As we stated in the introduction to Volume 1, for a long time now, survival being uncertain has been the principle at the core of From Software's games. In fact, this is perhaps the single trait that most decisively binds them all. In Elden Ring, this uncertainty is predicated almost entirely on the endlessly inventive collection of enemies that populate the lands between. Chief among these are the complex multi-stage boss battles that punctuate your progress, each one a test that must be passed. Knowing the answers to these tests can transform the game on subsequent playthroughs. The uncertainty is then replaced by the challenge of mastering these foes completely. This book has been designed to serve 2 primary purposes. First, as an archive of all the game's enemies and the armaments available to tackle them with, but also as a resource for those who seek absolute mastery of the game's combat and its toughest challenges, those who would learn and experiment with the incredible variety of available tools. Those who already know the lands between inside and out, and many playthroughs deep into their journey, are still searching for the perfect way to take down a particular foe. We've walked a tightrope through most of this book's production, balancing the inclusion of frequently changing data with a desire to directly inform and analyze. Where certain information had to be omitted for reasons of space limitations, we've consistently endeavored to retain that which is most particularly applicable. In doing so, we hope we've created a repository of information that makes the game's encounters less of a challenge for some and the path to mastery a little more appealing for others. Team Future Press. So that is the company that uh, made the strategy guide. So with that introduction page out of the way, we'll take a look at the more or less table of contents for the book. So, this is going to show you basically what you can expect out of it. So we have a little legend there on the side that kind of shows you like all the status effects and things of that nature. The different types of elemental boosts and stuff that you can put on your weapons or imbue them with. And then on the other side, we have the table of contents that shows you what is in the book. So as far as the overview of this volume 2 of the strategy guide, the second volume of the Books of Knowledge contains chapters covering all of Elden Ring's enemies and bosses, as well as the armaments and equipment needed to take them down. Each of these chapters is outlined in brief here to provide you with an overview of how the book is structured. This volume is not designed to require reading through it in order, though beginning with the lexicon at the start of the combat guide will make latter chapters easier to understand. So in total, there's 4 chapters to the book. We have the combat guide. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is the bestiary. Chapter 3 is armaments and equipment, and chapter 4 is extras. As far as what they say the extras is for those wanting to make the most out of all of the armaments and equipment described in chapter 3, this chapter offers additional information about creating builds, farming runes, and tackling new game plus cycles. It also includes an achievement/trophy guide that links to the most relevant pages of each volume. And then lastly, they do have an interview section where they interviewed Hidetaka Miyazaki, which is pretty nice. This unique section presents an entirely new interview with Elden Ring's director, Hidetaka Miyazaki, covering the game's design process and the journey to its release. This section is adorned with beautiful concept and loading screen artworks. And then we have the chapter guide. The table of contents next to it. I'm not going to really go over that, but it kind of breaks down, kind of sub chapters of each chapter, I guess. So just to give you an example for the combat guide, there's the lexicon of terms, then PvE and PvP, stats, secondary stats, movement, combat basics, damage types and special weaknesses, buffs and debuffs, blah, 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 blah. So not going to go through the entire book, obviously, but we'll kind of give you a little snippet of each chapter. But each chapter does begin with some nice artwork to kind of show you that you're in a new chapter. So this is the combat guide. So just to kind of give you an overall idea of what you're looking at. Um, a slew of information in here. So this particular page is part of the combat guide. So we have, vigor, mind, endurance, strength and dexterity, intelligence, and faith kind of breaks down, what each stat is primarily used for. And then there's a list of intelligence increasing items, faith increasing items, stuff like that. So I'll give you a little sneak peek of that. That is over here. So pretty cool. So that's the combat guide. It shows you about secondary stats, about movement, combat basics, light and heavy attacks. Um, melee combat, spell casting, guard counters. So, it gives you a nice kind of overview of everything. And then the second chapter is the bestiary, which again has a nice artwork there to show you you're in the second chapter of the bestiary. So that's basically going to show you all of the different enemy types. We'll give you kind of a little sneak peek of that here. I can find a kind of a cool page for us to look at here. I guess this one will do. We've got the Nox and the perfumers enemy types. So it shows you, what they're called. It shows you, what they can drop, their status, ailment resistances, their damage resistances, stuff like that. Um, I mean, a slew of information, and they have that for literally every single enemy in the game. So, we've got the Dominula dancers, the nomads, the oracle envoys, giant crabs, the trolls, sanguine nobles, Godric knights. So there's just endless. Well, not endless, but literally every single enemy in the game gives you lots of information on them. So that's kind of the gist of chapter 2. And then I'm just going to flip back to the table of contents so I can see where chapter 3 begins, which is armaments and equipment. That begins on page 248. So we'll flip there quickly. And again, we have a nice double page artwork to show us that we're in that chapter. So, it's going to show you all of the weapon types, weapons, shields, talismans, things of that nature. Lots and lots of statistics and information. So I'll give you a sneak peek of what that looks like. So literally every single weapon available in the game shows you what it is, shows you the damage type, the type of weapon it is, the amount of damage you do with one hand, two hand, how much the stamina costs are for each weapon. So when they say a lexicon of information, they're not joking. And it also shows you. I don't know why I said also twice there. Also, yeah. Also shows you, the unique weapons and stuff like that. So literally everything, every single weapon in the game is in the strategy guide. So that's the armaments and equipment. Chapter 4, the extras, starts on page 486. So we'll go ahead and get to that. And again, nice double page artwork of Liurnia there for the extras. Now, they said that this was basically kind of a section where they show you some builds that you can do, advanced builds. So, we have the strength builds, dexterity builds. I would presume there's faith builds, intelligence builds, things of that nature. So we'll kind of give you a look at some of those. I do like my strength builds. And so there's a build right there for the giant crusher. Then there's a build for the serpent hunter sword, or the whatever it is, halberd. The thing that you use to defeat Rykard. You don't want to be there all day fighting him. Then there's, dexterity, the hand of Melania. A build for Bloodflame, Bloodhound, Blackbow Archer, the Highland Axe, the Miser Cord, Ancient Dragon Lightning. And Intelligence builds Dark Moon Spell Sword, Gravity Mage, Night Sorcerer. Faith builds the Blasphemous Pyromancer. So lots of cool little builds that they came up with. Obviously some of them are might not be something that you've seen before. I mean, I've seen lots of Giant Crusher builds. I've seen Hand of Melania, Vite's War Spear. So, but nonetheless, pretty cool stuff. And then there's a section about New Game Plus that tells you, features carried over to it and features not carried over to it. Right there. And then I believe the last section of the strategy guide, well, and then we get trophies and achievements, shows you, what you need to do to gain those trophies. And then lastly, we have the interview with Hidetaka Miyazaki in this section. Not going to go through this in its entirety, but they basically just kind of ask him a bunch of questions about the game's development and things of that nature. So cool little section. If you happen to get one of these for yourself, you can go ahead and read through that. But this section does have lots of artwork in it to accentuate the interview. So pretty cool stuff. And then I would presume in the back we have a index, so about each individual chapter. It tells you where you can find information about any particular um, thing that you're looking for in any individual chapter. And then very lastly, we have the credits of the, sorry about that, page hit my microphone. So we have credits and thanks in the very last page. Shows you, the people that made the book possible. And that's more or less it. Um, so that's it for volume 2 of the Elden Ring strategy guide, the Shards of the Shattering. Um, I mean, I think for me personally, not something that I particularly wanted for information. For me, this was kind of just a nice collector's item. Uh, I do appreciate the time and the effort and all of the uh, as they put it, lexicon of information that they put into this. You can definitely tell some love and care was put into this as far as, the development of this book. So I do very much appreciate that. But who knows? Maybe I will, reference this at some point if I need to know um, about anything in particular. Um, I mean, it's probably just easier to go to like the wiki for Elden Ring online and look up the information that way. But things like these, I remember back in the day when strategy guides, before the internet was really, uh, you know, everything to everyone, where you could literally find out information for just about anything. Strategy guides were a thing that everybody liked to have for, playing their games and everything like that. I have pretty fond memories of playing Super Nintendo with my aunt, my late Aunt Roso, who very much liked to play The Legend of Zelda and other Super Nintendo games. And we would get the Nintendo Power magazines and know how to beat certain bosses in certain games and stuff like that. So um, I do appreciate that these still exist. They are kind of obsolete, when you're comparing them to the internet and the speed that you can look up information on the internet. But the fact that so much time and care was put into this, I very much do appreciate it. And for me, it's a nice collector's item to have. It's going to go right out in my living room with volume 1 on my display of all my, kind of Dark Souls from software collectibles that I have out there. Just one last thing, I guess, to show off. This does have a little tassel built into the pages, so you can kind of mark, pages that you want to go back and reference to. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really show off any, like the back of the book just has, an image of the Elden Ring. And then on the spine, it's just, Elden Ring Shards of the Shattering, Volume 2. But yeah, that about wraps it up, guys. So I hope the audio for this video comes through. Looking at my software on my laptop, it does look like the audio is transmitting, so that's good. So we hopefully shouldn't have to do this video a third time. But that's going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave me a thumbs up on the video. I really would appreciate that. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, All the Rage Gamer, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I really would appreciate that. And if you'd like to get notifications each and every time I upload a brand new video, go ahead and click that little bell icon next to the subscription box and you'll get notifications each and every time I upload a brand new video. So again, it's going to wrap it up here for the volume 2 of the Elden Ring strategy guide, the Shards of the Shattering. Hope you enjoyed watching and we'll catch you later in the next one.